What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Funky Punch back at it again with another video. And today we're gonna be breaking down the best UFC bets for UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Nascimento. So let's get it started with the first fight. I'd say the first fight, the best bets are definitely gonna be Aldridge moneyline, Aldridge plus 3.5, and Aldridge unanimous decision. I mean, you can switch it to just regular decision, but I feel like these are the best bets, and I feel like I have pretty good confidence in Aldridge, so that's why I'm kind of like tripling down on her. I'm not saying you have to make a bet on all of them. I think I am, but confidence level, I'd say plus 3.5 is definitely the highest. Money line, second highest. Unanimous decision, third. Um, let's get into the next fight. Johnson versus Hadley. I'd say the only bet you can really make, just because I think this is a close fight, I'd say is Johnson plus 3.5. I feel like both of them are kind of decision bergs, and I'd say Johnson can definitely edge out a round if it goes to the decision. It's a low confidence pick for Hadley for me, but I'd say money line. I don't know. It's close odds, and I feel like it's better just to watch this fight. So the best bet I think is plus 3.5 on Johnson. I'm not sure if I'll make it. Probably won't, but I'd say that's the best bet on this fight. Next up is Billy Goff versus Trey Waters. I'd say the best bet is Goff by KO. Man, actually, you know what? I didn't even put it, but let's say Goff money line. I'd say Goff money line is not too shabby, especially just because he's got so much grit. He pushes forward, he pushes the pace, he breaks people. But I'd say Goff by KO is better than the money line just because he kind of wins by KO and he kind of breaks the people, so the people he fights. So I'd say if he wins, it's probably by KO. He can easily get knocked out, and that's why I think fight does not go the distance is another good bet because he can easily get knocked out. And I'd say I have low confidence in Goff, but I'd say the KO at like plus 300 or somewhere around there is pretty good in my opinion. I'd say Pennington versus Reese. I said the only bet really is either over, which is kind of unbettable, over 2.5, or fight goes the distance. I'd say those are the only. That's the only bet you can really make on this fight, just because both of them are not crazy good. I'd say, actually, you know what? I take that back. Um, I'll do this. Write this down. Plus 3.5. Yeah, Pennington plus 3.5 just because they're kind of skilled at the same range and both of them aren't like crazy good. But Pennington has been proven. She's coming off a 2-year layoff, um, having a baby. It's kind of hard to like pick her fully. I have her winning, but I think this would be a close fight, and I think it's easy to take a round off of Reese. And I'd say the best bet is it going decision or Pennington by 3.5. So you're buying a point off the judges' scorecard. Next up, McKinney versus Ribovics. I'd say the really only bet is the fight does not go to distance because I'm pretty confident in it not going the distance. I'd say both of them are finishers, but McKinney is kind of like a finish or bust. Like if he doesn't finish you, then he's just gonna get submitted or knocked out. I feel like he kind of, if he can't get it, he's gonna kind of give up. I mean, not necessarily like he quits on himself, but I mean, it seems like he's just trying to get out of there as fast as he can. So fight does not go the distance is the best bet for that fight. Next up, Borchev versus Hooper. Borchev, crazy high confidence on Borchev. Money line, KO. Fight does not go the distance. I'd say best bet is definitely Borchev by just money line, just because he is just crazy odds. I don't know how he's such low odds. I don't know who's picking Hooper, but I know I'm definitely gonna be cashing out on Borchev, and Borchev is my highest confident pick. Best bet is definitely the money line. I think he knocks him out. I don't see how he doesn't knock him out just because Hooper, he's tough, but he has pretty much no striking, especially compared to Borchev. He doesn't have takedowns. He's not gonna be able to get it to the ground, but he has good submissions. But Borchev money line, best bet of the whole card. Next up, Acosta versus Despain. I think Despain money line isn't too bad. The KO, I think he's just gonna KO him, so I think it's better. I mean, I'm not 100% sure on it, but I'd say Despain by KO is better than the money line, just because if he loses, he's probably gonna get knocked out or lose by decision. So I don't really see him winning by decision. So Despain by KO or the fight does not go the distance are the best bets for this fight. Next up, Caceres versus Woodson. I'd say Caceres plus 3.5 is definitely the best, just because I think this is a close fight. Both of them are really good at leg kicks. Um, both of them are semi. The skill level is semi close. I'd say Caceres is definitely the vet. He's been proven in the UFC. He's kind of a win one, lose one fighter though. Woodson is on the come up. He's long, rangy. I think it's just gonna be a close fight that goes to the decision. So the 3.5 on Caceres, I think that he can take around. Not sure if it's fully bettable. Like all these best bets, I'm just saying them based off what I think in each fight, not necessarily to place it, but in my opinion, these are the best bets for each fight. Rebecca versus Ferreira. Rebecca money line, Rebecca KO, Rebecca decision only are those are I'm high confident in Rebecca, and I think that he's gonna KO him. The KO, I think he could submit him, but I feel like the fact that Ferreira is really good on the ground, bottom and on top, I'd say just Rebecca KO because he's gonna be able to beat him on the feet by a decent margin. His pressure is too good. Rebecca money line is like my second or third highest pick or bet, and I'd say Rebecca moneyline is definitely it's kind of like ballooning up, so you kind of have to parlay him. I'd say parlaying him with the next fight up, Olberg versus Menfield. Olberg moneyline, I'm really confident, pretty much the same confidence as Rebecca, and I'd say moneylining both of them in a parlay is pretty good odds. I'd say Olberg has the KO potential, and I think he's got a KO him. The decision only is really good, and the fight not going the distance is really good because Menefield is just a power puncher that has a lot of power but not much output. Olberg is really technical, stays on the outside, can piece you up, pretty safe. I think Olberg is just too good technically, and he's just going to be able to KO him. So I'd say the money line is just the best because you can he's definitely a parlayable piece. Olberg by KO I think is pretty good too. Decision only, I don't really see how Menefield beats him in a decision, so I think that's like a pretty safe bet. And fight does not go the distance. I mean, if either way, I feel like this is going to be a knockout. So, yep. Next up, Buckley versus Ruziboyev. I feel like fight is too close. I'd say looking at the bets, none of them really stand out to me, and I'd say there isn't really any good bets on this on this fight, just because Ruziboyev can knock him out. Buckley can win by decision or by finish, but Ruziboyev hasn't faced anybody like Buckley. If you were to make a bet, maybe it's either Ruziboyev by KO or Buckley money line, just because Ruziboyev hasn't faced anybody like Buckley. Buckley, he can get chinned. The problem is with Ruziboyev, he's fighting at 170, so I don't really see that you can't really tell how good he is yet, and fighting at 170, he could be too diminished since he's been fighting at 185, hasn't fought at 170 for like 3 years, so I'd say I'd stay away from betting on this fight. And the last fight, the main event, Lewis versus Nascimento. I'd say Lewis moneyline or Lewis KO is definitely the best bets to make, just because Nascimento got chinned by Chris Dawkins. I mean, he struggles to take down some of his opponents that are low-level UFC heavyweights, and we know that they're not the most technical. And if you are that guy, you will definitely be able to like destroy the low-level competition. And I mean, the only really semi-good guy that he faced, Chris Dawkins, is not. He's the semi-good guy that I'm talking about, and I don't think he's that good. But like, he got chinned by him. So Lewis has some power that he's never faced before. He's got probably one of the most powerful punches in the UFC. He's always live for the knockout. His problem is takedowns. He can get taken down and controlled, but Lewis's power, I feel like Nascimento hasn't faced anyone like him, and that's definitely the money line or the KO is definitely the best bet in my opinion. And thanks for watching. Have a good one.